What's up, everybody? This is Alex Christoforou with the Duran, and I have with me Peter Lavelle, host of RT's Crosstalk, and today we're going to talk about Twitter's suspension of Alex Jones and the InfoWars account. So, Peter, we had the interview with Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, with NBC Nightly News' Lester Holt. And
a real beauty there. Okay, a real beauty.
Yeah, this interview really caught my eye, and it made me a little angry, to be honest, and frightened, because it seems like the purge of the censorship and the purge of the conservative right and libertarians, and even the progressive left, is not going to end.
Before we talk about Alex Jones, Stefan Molyneux, his head's on the block right now.
Right.
I've been an avid follower of him for years. He's no radical. He's very deep. He's very philosophical. He's coherent. He has never called for violence against anyone. Actually, just the opposite. He's a man that begs for dialogue. And he's been warned twice, I guess it's in many days. He put out a video. It's very depressing because he's effective. He has over 800,000 followers, and those people are pretty, if I could use the term, they're very religious followers of his message. A huge contribution to freedom of speech, and it's very much under threat. I wonder, by the time our viewers are watching this, he might be gone. All of it wiped clean.
Yeah, he got 2 strikes in a matter, I think he even said it was a matter of overnight, 12 hours or 14 hours. Like yeah, and he got two strikes on him. And one more strike would have meant that he would have been banned. And he has thousands of videos. He has a lot of content, I think 12 years on YouTube.
Yeah, 12 years.
Yeah, and so, I mean, it's his whole business hinges on his YouTube channel.
And he's not told why. He's not given any concrete reason why. Community standards. Explain. That's just an empty phrase now. It's a weaponized phrase to shut you down. Yeah. So what does it mean? Community standards. Please enlighten me.
Yeah, community standards, hate speech. No one ever defines any of that. On purpose, of course.
Well, the Supreme Court doesn't either, for a good reason. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, and it's all done on purpose. And so, okay, that'll lead into the interview with Lester Holt and Jack Dorsey. And the part that really angered me and worried me was when Lester Holt was talking about Alex Jones' tweet that got him suspended. For those of you that don't know, we'll put a screenshot of that tweet. And pretty much Alex Jones just sent a one-line tweet that referenced a video where he's calling for people to take up arms and to fight the deep state and the people that are coming after them and the censorship. It wasn't really anything new coming out of Alex Jones. If anything, it was more docile than most of the rants that he gets into. Most of it's for show. And so that tweet got Alex Jones and InfoWars suspended. And Lester Holt was talking to Jack Dorsey, and he said, when I read that tweet, it gave me a shiver came down my spine when I read that tweet. And before you react, Tweeter, let me read you what Jack Dorsey's reply was, and then you can just give your sense of what's happening here. So Dorsey responds to Holt, and he says, quote, any suspension, whether it be a permanent one or a temporary one, makes someone think about their actions and behaviors. Peter.
Okay, I think I need my teddy bear. I need a warm glass of milk, and I have now my imaginary safe place so I can answer this question. No, this is social media nanny state, okay? I mean, who is is Twitter now in the psychology business? Oh, really? Okay. They're diagnosing people. Do they diagnose what freedom of speech is? Now, let's go back to Alex Jones. I've seen I don't really particularly like Alex Jones because it is a lot of vitriol and it's a lot of showmanship. He's selling vitamins, for God's sake, okay? And he speaks in the most, I'm sorry, banal, metaphorical terms. Let's take up arms. He's talking about the Second Amendment, okay? We've all gotten used to this. Alex Jones is a known brand, okay? What he put on there to get suspended is vintage Alex Jones. You love him or you hate him, okay? But he has freedom of speech. And now Twitter is coming by like the good doctor to diagnose your mental state. And if you need a time out, well, really? Okay, what else? Are you going to tell me what kind of shoes and bow tie to wear tomorrow? Come on, this is ridiculous. This is policing free speech. Now, community standards, what is it? What did he do? What violation? He was himself. Everyone is recognizable, okay? I mean, William O. Douglas in 1971, I think it was, when he was asked, what is pornography? He says, I don't know, but I know when I see it. Well, we all know what we see when we see Alex Jones. Alex Jones, okay? No, this is all part of the campaign to shut people down. Twitter's left out there, I guess, naked, supporting the freedom of speech of one person that's very controversial, and now they have to follow suit. Keep your mouth shut. Sit in the back and nod. Twitter has no courage. These platforms have no courage whatsoever. They have no depth. They don't understand. I mean, if it's outside the hymns of their secular, postmodernist, Marxist culturalist church, they don't understand it. It must be threatening to somebody. Okay, that's nonsense. Grow up. Grow up and engage people. That's what Alex Jones does. If you don't like it, tell me why. Why do you disagree with him? Why is he wrong? No, we can't listen to it. It hurts our ears. I'm offended.
Yeah.
Well, freedom of speech has no future if people like this are controlling the public square.
No, it seems like you have some very thin-skinned tech billionaires who have been given way too much power. I mean, way too much power.
What about Sarah Jeong? Okay, yeah. What about her? On the editorial board of the New York Times. She can say the most genocidal things against a certain group of people in society. Oh, there's no context there. Well, what about Alex Jones? Okay, we all know his context. He's not a threat to anybody. Yeah. Except for people that believe in freedom of speech.
Yeah, he's been broadcasting for years. Everyone knows exactly what he's about and exactly what he's going to say and exactly why he does it. He's running a business, and like you said, he's selling his supplements, and he's got a huge reach, and he does a very good job doing it. He has a very good business.
Okay, I'm offended all the time by what Rachel Maddow does. Yeah. Should she be banned? No, I can challenge her. I'm intellectually woke enough to understand what propaganda she's spewing out. Should she be shut down? Absolutely not. Okay, you can say the most offensive things. Yeah. Beyond calling for violence against someone, then just grow a thicker skin and engage the public square. Don't shut it down.
Yeah, during the interview, Dorsey even says that Twitter has mechanisms that can, and I'm paraphrasing here, mechanisms that can understand when a person's behavior changes by the actions that we do to them. I mean, it was absolutely silly. It's like you say, you have these tech billionaires, these tech companies. Literally, they're the nanny state. They're sitting here telling us, and when we punish you, when we suspend you, and the suspension is going to lead to a ban. There's no doubt about it. When we suspend you and we ban you, you better know that we can change your behavior. You better shape up, son. You better change your behavior or else.
Just self-censor and you'll survive. Yeah. Just say it's okay. No, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, they're just a telephone line. I will determine what my content is. You carry it, okay? You make money off of it, okay? So stop doing this, all right? I don't see anyone's civil rights being violated by the very bizarre speech at times of Alex Jones, okay? I just don't see it. But I look at Stephen Molyneux, go back to him. Here's a guy or Jordan Peterson that can take on these moronic postmodernist cultural Marxists, and they can win, and they are convincing, and they red pill every single day, people, okay? This is what these people are afraid of. They're afraid of that. They're not encouraging people to disseminate ideas. They want to shut it down. They want to put borders on it. The public square is going to be policed by these social media platforms. I didn't sign up for that. No, I don't think anybody did. And they still make money off of all of us, okay? So we have a say in this process as well. And if you're going to monetize everything I say and do and read, at least give me freedom of speech, okay? They can't even do that.
Yeah, they won't even do that, and I find it hilarious that Twitter's sitting here and they're talking about Alex Jones' behavior. When you can go on Twitter and see about 100 accounts which are owned by ISIS, which are owned by Al Qaeda, which are literally promoting violence and terrorism on a per minute basis, and they're not doing anything about it, or the way they cover the Syrian war, or the way they covered Libya and all these things, Ukraine, the neo-Nazis, the coup, everything.
All this is about is very, very simple. Alex Jones is a known figure. He's loved, he's hated. Very few people are indifferent. They take him down off of all of these platforms. Stefan Molyneux, right after that. Right. It's setting the precedent. Now it's going to be Jimmy Dore. He's a progressive. Yeah. I like Jimmy Dore. I don't particularly agree with him. Mark Dice. I like Mark Dice.
Stephen Crowder.
Got a great cutting sense of humor. He's very intellectually engaging. He has, like Alex Jones, Mark Dice has a brand. We all know his brand. I see it every single day. I know what he's about, okay? Does he go into hyperbole? Of course he does. I'm acting like the Young Turks. Of course they do too. I'm offended by what they say all the time on the Young Turks. Okay, I think they get a lot of things actually wrong. They need a major fact check.
Everything wrong.
They're untouchable. They're untouchable. They went after Tucker Carlson for a comment he made earlier in the week about how ubiquitous is our white supremacists in America. I mean, if you watch MSNBC and CNN, they're around every corner and under every single rock. But they're not, okay? And then the Young Turks go around and mock Tucker Carlson. He must be a racist because he's giving them, carrying water for these white supremacists. They took a quote that he had to say in his program, which I watched, and they took it completely out of context. They didn't address anything that he actually said, and then they went on with their own assumptions. It was really deplorable. It was dishonest journalism, or they're just fucking illiterate, okay? They don't know what they're talking about. They don't understand the English language.
So when does it end? Peter, you mentioned Tucker Carlson. So they go down the list. They get to Mark Dice. They get to Stephen Crowder. They get to Lawrence Southern. Maybe they get to us, to you, to all these people. When do they go after? When do they go after a Laura Ingraham, Tucker Carlson, and these people?
What they're looking for is that tipping point. That's what they're looking for. They're going after these guys first, and then the level of intimidation is at a certain point. It's Fahrenheit intimidation, okay? That's when they hope everyone will kick in with their self-censorship. Alex, maybe I shouldn't say this on this recording. Let me think about it. Maybe rephrase it. That's what they want people to do. They want them to create the prison in their own head. That's authoritarianism. That's totalitarianism. That's what they want. They won't shut it all down, no, because they'll destroy their own business model. Okay,
that's a great
particularly
comment.
If you really think about it. If you think about it, if you look at like Facebook and Twitter, what are the most active elements on the political spectrum? Conservatives and progressives. They're the most active. They're the most vocal. They're the most articulate. Okay, because the center liberals, they're playing a defensive posture right now because they're getting squeezed out because nobody cares what they say anymore. Okay, so what these, and we know this is being done as a conspiracy because they're working together. All of these platforms. It's no coincidence that they all went after Alex Jones at the same time, and then Twitter is cowed into doing it as well. I mean, what is Alex Jones said differently a month ago than he says today? It's no different. It never, ever changes. But suddenly, Twitter, one of our programs kicked in. The Nanny state has kicked in. The Nanny media platform market kicked in, okay? So that's what they're looking for. They're looking for this level of intimidation. I think it's very, very instructive that particularly Alex Jones and Stefan Molyneux, because they're very different brands, but they're pushing them out and telling everybody that is similar or satellites of both. Be careful, tone it down. That's what they're doing. I think that's their strategy.
Yeah, that's a brilliant comment that you made, because I was watching PewDiePie, who has, I think, 65 million. He's the largest brand on YouTube. 65 million followers, and he doesn't get political at all. He does mostly fun stuff and gaming stuff. And he even said that he was worried about doing a video that comments on the Alex Jones censorship, because he was afraid that he's going to get banned on YouTube. So, I mean, they've got even the biggest of YouTube stars literally thinking, should I mention the name Alex Jones? Should I say Alex Jones?
See, this is what it's not. They're not driving as a goal censorship. Their goal is self-censorship, to get people to self-censor themselves. That's what they're doing. We've seen this before. That's really the very core of McCarthyism. Just don't say anything. Don't say the obvious. Don't say the truth, because you'll get in trouble. Okay? And maybe it'll just pass by. Okay? They won't notice me. You're right. They won't notice you if you just act like everybody else. Okay? Yeah. And that's what they want you to do. All right? Don't stand out. Don't say the truth. Don't be honest. All right? Two honest people can disagree. That's what the public square is all about, folks. They want to take out an entire layer of it, an entire section of it, where they just have their bubble. And when you have a bubble, you have a totalitarian/authoritarian society. Okay? And it's not the state doing it, it's these private media platforms.
Yeah, I mean, would you not say that they're acting on behalf of the state? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious.
Oh, yeah, pretty obvious, yeah. I mean, one hand is washing the other. But see, the thing is that you don't necessarily have, it's kind of like this Russia gate thing. You know, Brennan and Comey and Clapper, they didn't necessarily have to meet and coordinate. It's just a signal. It's signaling. Everything is a signal. I get what he means. The pattern. Okay, I'm going to go put my 2 cents in here. That's what this is all about. It's so much more subtle. I mean, we want to see the hammers are coming down and the plugs are being pulled. No, their strategy is to make people do it all on their own. That's what they want.
And would you not say, Peter, that the middle, at the end of the day, the middle and the mainstream media thinks that they're winning, because essentially what they've done is they've boxed in these platforms in a way in which they're telling them, don't put anything that competes with us. In other words, don't put, Alex Jones, don't put Jimmy Dore, don't put these guys that compete with us, number one, so that we can continue to get our ad revenue. But at the same time, they're pretty much putting the screws to these social media sites, because these social media sites are saying, well, if we get rid of the conservative right and we get rid of the progressive left,
who's left?
Everyone's going to go, who's left? And so everyone had to go back to the mainstream media again, or are they going to other platforms? No. They go to
that's the wrinkle there, because nobody is going back to the mainstream media. People are looking for other platforms, and that's what's going to happen. People are not going to go back and say, maybe I should give CNN a second chance. That ain't going to happen. That didn't happen, Brian Stelter isn't going to get smarter through time, believe me, okay? It's just not going to happen, okay? They're not. And see, this is the fatal mistake they're doing, is that they think essentially, they've used like Russiagate as a way to put pressure on social media platforms to start controlling them, because really, social media did make the biggest of differences during the 2016 presidential election, because people could talk to each other. I don't care what Chris Cuomo has to say. Who does? All right? And they want their monopoly back. So does the Washington Post. So does the New York Times. Okay? And people, and the CIA, for example, would just love to have, one authoritative media channel to send their message out, give them that media outlet more authority again. And what they're doing is that they're trying to fight against a tsunami, okay? That's what they're trying to do. No one's going back to the mainstream media. Look at their revenue numbers. Look at their hits and eyeballs. It's a one-way bet, okay? And it's going down for them.
And so, Peter, to close out this segment, and I'd like to hear your comments on this, could you also say that the Young Turks, a channel like the Young Turks are like a poster boy, an example of, if you behave good and if you leave the progressive left narrative and move over to the mainstream and toe the line and say what we want you to say, then you can stay on our platform and we'll reward you. What do you think of that, of that theory?
the Young Turks, they're basically cover for the center liberals, okay? And what they do is they go a little bit out there. Like they go to some extreme positions like Nancy Pelosi should go. Oh my God, they're really out there. They're real radicals, aren't they? Okay? And what they do is they just go identity politics, even more extreme than the mainstream, and that makes them look more hip and more liberal and more in touch with like for example, I think we all could agree that their target audience are millennials. That's who they appeal to, and that suits the CNNs and MSNBCs and NBC particularly. It suits them quite well. So it really is kind of a pretend game where what they do is they lengthen out the spectrum a little bit more to make it look authentic, to look like there is an alternative out there. They're all more or less the same, okay? And, Young Turks, they're financed well, okay? They're financed well, and I'm sure the financier gets his or her money worth.
Yeah, I would definitely say that they're this alternative, this new mainstream.
Yeah,
news.
yeah.
They're not much different than MSNBC.
It's a fake mainstream.
Yeah,
okay, I mean, when I watch that because I don't watch them anymore. Okay, when Jank was at the Republican convention for the 2006 election, remember when Roger Stone came in?
Yeah,
it was hilarious. That was great stuff. Yeah. That was the last time I ever watched them because they were just complete lunatic conspiracy. I mean, at least they could marshal facts, and you could kind of, joust with them. It was okay. It was an intellectual challenge for me. No, it's not an intellectual challenge for me at all. Okay, it's a waste of time. They are just an appendage of the propaganda state. Okay, the Nanny propaganda state. They're part of that.
Yeah, I tuned out from them when when they were actually citing the New York Times for the chemical weapon strikes in Syria. And then you take like a Jimmy Dore, who was on the Young Turks, who actually says the truth about Syria and what's going on, and you could see how they've moved so far apart from each other in the narrative.
Citing the New York Times.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a real knee snapper. Wow, I thought they would, have more guts and mention Mother Jones. Okay, that might be, more out.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
The last point here, just to kind of reiterate, what's happening right now? These social media platforms with the liberal elites and the deep state, they're looking for that tension point where they can start creating a moment of intimidation where people will self-censor. This is what this is all about.
Do you think it's going to work real quick?
People will go elsewhere.
Right.
People will go elsewhere.
Yeah.
And then these people have a real problem. Their business models will start faltering. And then where are you going to get your news? Well, people are going to go to their own places, and they're going to leave the mainstream. There won't even be a reference point. This is when it's going to get scary. Shut down WikiLeaks, big mistake. WikiLeaks has always been honest in its reporting of materials that comes into its hands. Another organization like WikiLeaks might not.
Yeah, that's true. And while you say people can go elsewhere, I'll give a quick plug. BitChute, Minds, Gab, Steemit, DTube. There are choices out there that are gaining a lot of momentum. And you can find us on those platforms now as well.
It's such a shame because it's people like us and people that watch videos like this that made YouTube what it is. Okay, because it was a public square where we felt confident that we could come to, and they're destroying it. They destroy everything in the name of their fake ideas and their fake world outlook. It's really pathetic. History will look back at this time and say pathetic.
Yeah. On that note, Peter Lavelle, host of RT's Crosstalk. Thank you very much. Guys, if you like this video, click on the subscribe button down below and click on that notifications bell to get notifications every time we push out a new video. And visit the Duran shop. Support us. Buy a t-shirt. Peter Lavelle, host of RT's Crosstalk. We're still broadcasting. Still here. We're still here. And we are talking about censorship and Alex Jones. Let's hope this video does get monetized and does not get taken down. Yeah.
Last time we said that it did. Okay?
Yeah, last time we said that it did. So YouTube, if you're watching this, don't demonetize us. Don't demonetize us. This was a good discussion. Guys, until next time, take care.